G'day folks, it's the Meeple Monkey here again with another Marvel United gameplay video for you. We've got another homebrew battle with a character that we've actually featured a couple of times on the channel, and that's Cameron Hodge, but he's in his, I guess, his final form. He's fully evolved and ready to go. So big thanks to, well, a lot of people who have really sort of helped bring Cameron Hodge to life here, but big thanks to Kanji from Kanji Studios. He basically was able to get hold of an artist and was kind enough to commission some art by this artist for Cameron Hodge as well. So if you've been following what Kanji's doing, he's doing a lot of great Marvel villains, homebrew villains, and putting them up on the Marvel United Discord, and I think the wiki page as well. And so he's been doing a lot of great work with an artist there by the name of Erwin Thunder, and so he's commissioned some art here. We have these smile face soldiers, which are like the goons, the henchmen of Cameron Hodge, and we finally have, we had some sort of placeholder artwork just from the comics before, but we've actually got this here. I don't know if you can see that there, but by Erwin Thunder. I think I said that right before. So that's what we have, sort of finalizing things there. In the meantime, since the last time we featured Cameron Hodge as well, I've done a bit of tweaking, had some discussions with Dave, or Diversion Architect, who's done a lot of great stuff with the Age of Apocalypse heroes, been doing the Rogues Gallery, and doing a lot of great work in the design space using the InDesign templates. And he really sort of helped us sort of work through some thematic elements to sort of make the game a little bit more thematic as well. So what we have, you just saw those smile face soldiers. You might remember they were villains. These were henchmen in the regular sort of Cameron Hodge battle, and now what they are sort of like a surprise element that sort of appears towards the end of the battle. So we've added a couple of extra versions of some of the other threats here, and we've added those as sort of like a surprise element, because those henchmen don't really show up in the story until after Cameron Hodge is revealed to be a bad guy, or thereabouts anyway. So speaking of Cameron Hodge, let's have a look at how he goes. So if you didn't catch one of the earlier videos, I'll go through just very quickly how he works, and I'll sort of explain some of the differences as well, because I've been sort of in touch with Lukey19, who designed all the actual layout for us, and he's been very kind enough to sort of like keep updating Cameron Hodge as I've been sort of tweaking the rules and that sort of thing as well. So if we have a look here, we've got a special setup here. Some of this has changed as well. What we do is we place the Hodge's secret files card face down on the table, and that's this one here. So we've got his secret files there. So secret that he's decided to put a photo of himself looking very suspect on the front of his secret files. But there you go, and also label his secret files secret files. So he's being very very sneaky. And so we put that face down on the table. We use the X Factor headquarters as the starting location for the heroes and for Cameron Hodge, since he's really just a good guy and he's working for us and he's just our PR guy, and there's nothing wrong, you know. Everything's normal here. It's all fine. So Cameron Hodge and all the characters, they start in the X Factor headquarters, and that's a new location we've designed for the scenario, and we've just used some AI art there to get that looking pretty close to the original X Factor headquarters. So we set that up as the starting location for both the heroes and the villain. We've got Dangerous Mutants and Hateful Humans threat cards. There are 2 of each, so we've got Hateful Humans here and here, Dangerous Mutants in these 2 locations here, they cannot be added to locations with less than 3 of these sort of starting, or these token banks here. So if they're a really small location, like maybe Deadpool's apartment, those sort of locations, they don't really, these dangerous mutant locations don't really work for that, so there's a little rule there, so just to make sure you don't use those locations. Rather than follow the setup instructions for these locations, always just add exactly one civilian and one thug to them at the start of the game. So you can see here we've got the 4 locations that apply to those threat cards, and I've just set up one civilian and one thug. So for example, the Morlock tunnels here should have an extra thug there. There should be an extra couple of thugs here with the Central Park, but we haven't added those. And then we've got threat cards are initially placed with the smile face soldier side face down. So you can see here none of the smile face soldiers are showing. Okay, so that's the setup there. Let's have a look at how he works. This stuff hasn't really changed. I can't think of anything that's that has changed with the dashboard. I've just made a few tweaks as well to some of the threat cards. So let's have a look though at this. So when a hero is KO'd, Hodge doesn't activate his BAM. Instead, draw another master plan card and add it face down to the storyline. Okay, that's pretty standard. Whenever a hero rescues, this is a big part of him. Whenever a hero rescues a civilian or defeats a thug, place the tokens on the villain dashboard instead of on their mission cards. Okay, instead of on the corresponding mission card. At the end of a villain turn, add any tokens that are still on the dashboard to their corresponding mission card. So at the end of his turn, you check to see if there's any tokens still here, and then they get put in the correct spot. Let's have a look here. So heroes in the location in which Hodge ends his movement, so basically wherever he lands, lose an action token if they have any. And Hodge has no health and cannot be damaged. Okay, so you can see here, he's got this health symbol, but he doesn't have any like health stats here or anything like that. So essentially he is not able to be damaged. You don't attack him, he's basically like a civilian. Instead, once the second mission is complete, flip any remaining threat cards over. Okay, so they'll reveal their smile face soldiers. So any threats you haven't dealt with, the more threats you don't deal with, the more smile face soldiers are going to arrive. Replace the location opposite the X Factor headquarters. So in this case, it will be New York. We replace that with the right secret base. And you retain any crisis tokens, but place only one civilian and one thug there. So you basically sort of reset that location with its tokens. Then place a reminder token on the last played hero card in the storyline and flip Hodge's secret files card, and that will give you some more instructions. So we're using, for the purposes of this, since this little Senator Kelly token looks a little bit like Cameron Hodge, we're going to use that as the reminder token, but you could use any token that you have access to. So his BAM, he deals 1 damage to one hero not in his location, essentially the mice will play when the cat's away sort of thing. So he basically sort of does he sort of works behind your back and is setting out things in motion while you're not there, sort of things to deal with him. So he deals damage to you where you're not, and then where he's not. And then if all heroes are in Hodge's location, so if he happens to be in a spot where they're all babysitting him, then instead when he BAMs, he adds. So he doesn't attack you outright because people are watching him, but he adds a thug to each location adjacent to Hodge. And in this game, the thugs essentially represent mutants and the civilians represent humans. So he's putting the alert out and sort of like telling you, oh look, there's mutants over there, you've got to go capture. Okay, so over here, and it essentially, I didn't really go into it, but Cameron Hodge, he essentially is the mastermind behind the original concept for X Factor, which was a team of mutants who were acting almost like, mutant busters sort of thing that people could call up and get to deal with, come and deal with this mutant in a town. But it was all supposed to be under the guise of going in and, collecting the mutants and taking them and giving them shelter sort of thing. But it was all a big scheme to actually make mutants more feared in the community. So If one or more civilians or thug tokens, this is the overflow effect I should say, if one or more civilians or thug tokens cannot be added to a location, add a crisis token instead. And this is sort of key to him. He's all about, this is what his villainous plot is about, is adding these crisis tokens to locations. He wants to bring about the, you know, end of mutant kind by starting a big war between humans and mutants. So he's sort of doing all this underhanded stuff to sort of bring that stuff about. So if one or more civilians or mutant tokens cannot be added to a location, add a crisis token instead. If there is already a crisis token in the location, add a crisis token to the next clockwise location without one. So essentially you can sort of cascade a little bit there. Now, I think it was Matt Harvey, I think it was, who has very kindly printed out Cameron Hodge and given him a run, some playtesting already. Said that this wording here made him think that you potentially, if you couldn't add these tokens to a location, you would add a crisis token perhaps to the bank of token spots there or something like that, but it's just you essentially are putting a token just on the location somewhere, just basically showing that that location has been basically sort of turned into chaos sort of thing, but it doesn't block spots in the actual token banks there. We also have, so let's go down to his villainous plot here. If the following number of locations have a crisis token, the heroes lose. So if you're playing a two-player game, you have until all the locations, all 6 of the locations have a crisis token. But if you're playing with 3 players, only 5 of the locations need a crisis token for him to win. And he will also, Cameron Hodge will win and you will lose if you're playing a 4-player game, which we are today, and 4 of the locations come up with a crisis token. So he's he's putting the threats up a little bit there when you have more people. Okay, so we'll put that down. So let's have a look at what we've got here. So we've got a couple of locations here for his threats, which are these wild goose chases. So this represents him sort of really hampering your efforts to be an effective team, because he's always sort of like giving you the wrong intel and sending you on bad missions and that sort of thing. So these are wild goose chases. So heroes starting their turn in this or an adjacent location or locations must play their cards randomly from their hand. This is a bit of a change from an earlier draft where this was pretty much just everywhere on the board. Until you got rid of both of these cards, you always had to play randomly. So this just sort of makes it a little bit more situational, a little bit more sort of like location based, so you can sort of try and work around that. But to clear these, you need to put one of each of the action tokens down there. So we happen to have those in the hangar bay and the X-Jet over here. So I've set up the mission. So we've got X-Factor headquarters, we've got New York where X-Factor is set up. And in some of my earlier videos, I kept saying that X-Factor headquarters was in San Francisco. I don't know where I got that idea from, but I believe it's very wrong. So I think they're in New York, in fact. I think one of the missions, maybe they fly to San Francisco or something. Now we also have the Morlock tunnels, since that features in some of those early X-Factor stories, and they seem to sort of go from their headquarters in an underground sort of passageway into the Morlock tunnels and then end up in Central Park and do some fighting over there sometimes as well. So I thought I'd connect those two, and then we've got New York, of course, as well. So let's have a look at these. So in the New York locations, X-Factor headquarters and New York, we have these hateful human cards here. So there used to only be one copy of these, but now there's 2, and they work slightly differently too. So at the end of a villain turn, after placing any tokens on mission cards, so once you've put all the tokens from the mission, the dashboard, onto the mission cards, at the very end of the turn you check these cards here, and so for these ones, because the humans are basically sort of protesting and beating up mutants, if humans outnumber, or civilians outnumber thugs in this location, discard 1 thug from the mission card. So you lose any progress you've made there, you lose a little bit of it. And deal 1 damage to each hero in this location as they get caught up in the fight. Now these require 2 heroics and a punch, because you might have to do a little bit of fighting and also a little bit of like PR work to try and sort of calm people down. So that's what those 2 are about. So we have those 2 in those locations, and we happen to have in the little tunnel heading towards Central Park, the dangerous mutant. So this is where the mutants who are being oppressed are sort of like fighting back. So the ones with a little bit more chutzpah, the dangerous mutants, at the end of the villain turn. So this is the same effect, it's just in reverse. So at the end of the villain turn, after placing any tokens on mission cards, if thugs outnumber civilians in this location, discard a civilian from the mission card and deal 1 damage to each hero in this location. So essentially the sort of like more sort of criminal element of the mutants, or the more sort of vigilante mutants, are sort of attacking back sort of thing. In this case, there's more sort of fighting going on, and you've got to do a little bit of sort of calming them down as well. So there we go, we'll put those there. So there are 2 copies of those. So the extra copies of these cards essentially are replacing when we used to have the smile face soldiers as the starting sort of threat cards there as well. So we've got all the threats set up there. Now, explaining the team, we've got our illustrious PR head honcho here. Now, unfortunately, I do have another copy of this model, which I'm planning on painting up as Cameron Hodge, but I haven't got around to doing that, unfortunately. It's been so long and I still haven't done it. But this is Senator Kelly, but he's such a great model, we're going to use him as Cameron Hodge. He's in our starting location, and now normally a lot of the time I was playtesting this, I was using the original first class team because I painted them up to look like the old X Factor team from these days. But I thought, since we've already featured that before on the channel, I think we did anyway, I thought we would use the same characters. So we've got Cyclops, Beast, Jean Grey and Iceman, but I thought we'd use their sort of just regular X-Men cards for these, and models as well. So we've got Beast as well, so they're the only 2 I've got painted from that team. And then we also have Jean Grey and Iceman, there he is. So as you can see, I haven't painted these guys yet. Okay, now apart from that, yeah, I think we've just got to explain. So you might be wondering, what's this over here? So this is the secret base. So this is what we're going to replace New York with, and I'm placing it out on the board because one thing about this mission is, you might have seen from a lot of what I've already explained, there's a lot to it, lots of little fiddly bits and pieces. And I think the mission is still really fun, but I do acknowledge there's a lot to sort of keep track of and stuff. And one thing I often forget to do is swap the location over. So I'm hoping that I'm going to remember that. We'll see how I go by placing it out on the board and putting it underneath the file card. So I'm hoping as I flip that over to reveal it, I'm going to remember to swap the base over. So we'll see how that goes. Fingers crossed. So I think that's about it. I think we've explained everything else. We've got Cameron Hodge's master plan deck here. I'm really excited because the other thing too, since we've got him in his finalized form with the final artwork, I've printed out the cards, you know, professional quality, and yeah, really excited to be using these. So yeah, we'll see how we go. Let's get down to the table. I think we've got, and we'll shuffle up our. Well, let's just quickly we'll shuffle up our hero cards here. We'll take 3 cards for Iceman, 3 cards for Beast. Okay, there we go. We've got the 3. Oopsie daisy. Let's grab another one there for Jean Grey. 1, 2, 3. And our illustrious team leader. There we go. 1, 2, 3. And we've got Cyclops there as well. So I think we can get started. Right, we're going to start with Cameron Hodge. One thing I didn't mention as well is because in the storyline they're sort of capturing these young mutants and like trying to train them up. I thought we'd add the danger room. It's not really the danger room there, but they do have like a training room, and I figured we could use that to put the training cards in, and that'd be sort of like a fun little thematic thing as well. So yeah, I forgot to mention that. Alright, well, let's see what Cameron Hodge decides to do. I don't think I've forgotten anything else from the setup. Let's have a look. He's going to do this. Alright, so this is an interesting one to start with as well, since we don't have any current progress. So he's going to move 2 locations clockwise, so he's going to move once, twice. He's taking the private jet, okay, to his other office. And this one says anti-mutant protests. Okay, so there's a lot of anti-mutant hysteria being whipped up at the time during the comics around about when this is set. So it says take half of the civilians rounding up from the villain dashboard and add each to a different location starting in Hodge's location and moving clockwise. So if we had been working on rescuing civilians, essentially what Hodge is doing is he's essentially us rescuing civilians in this mission is sort of represents us winning the hearts and minds and sort of talking them down and calming them down and telling them to go home. He basically sort of keeps whipping them up with his anti-mutant ads and things like that and creating these protests. So essentially what happens is we take half of the civilians we've been working on from here and place them back out on the board starting from his location and going around. So that's what would happen there normally. But we don't have that situation at the moment. So we've got a little paragraph here that tells you what to do if that's not the case. So if there are no civilians on the villain dashboard, we add one to his location and each adjacent location. So he's going to start spreading these out. And remember, if we get overflows happening, that is not good. Okay. That's how he wins, or one of the ways he wins. So we'll place that down over here in the villain's starting spot. And that's about all she wrote. Let's have a look. So he didn't land in a spot. We don't have any action tokens anyway to lose from that effect there. He's not bamming, so we don't need to worry about him dealing any damage. So we move on. So we're going to have a look at Cyclops. Cyclops is going to take the first turn. We have Optic Blast here, which allow him to punch in both adjacent locations, plus he gets a regular punch. He's got a wild, and he has a punch. Now, if you've seen Cameron Hodge before, you'll know a bit how he works when things change. So there's sort of like a second act in the story, essentially, or a second innings. So we have to be mindful about what cards we're going to play. This wild seems like, well, that might be a good one to play early, but there's a reason why that one might not be a great one to play. However, we do need to draw a card. So we're going to draw a new card for beginning of his turn. So he gets a move and a heroic there as well. Now, if we look though, we've got these 2 wild goose chases, and they affect their location and the 2 adjacent locations, which essentially means that all of these locations here are being affected by that effect at the moment. So we're starting in this location, so we do actually have to turn our cards face down, and we're going to play randomly. So as much as I would like maybe not to use that wild, I might have to. We'll see what happens. Alright. Oh, you know what I should have checked as well? I did forget, didn't I? I forgot to check at the end of the villain turn, because we had a villain turn end there. We have to check these hateful humans and dangerous mutant locations. Now, these locations haven't changed, so we know that there's no imbalance of power here. These are fine. Over here, though, we do have that the humans are outnumbering the mutants, the thugs there, or the mutants, so that means we're going to have to discard a mutant from the mission card. Luckily there's none there. Okay, so it's not really going to affect us. Also, we would be dealing damage to each hero in that location. Again, luckily there's nothing going on there at the moment. There's no one there to damage. However, we do know that there's now an imbalance of power here. So if we start working on defeating thugs, we know that we're going to lose a thug unless we can sort of fix up this imbalance of power here. So we'll see how that goes. Alright, especially considering it's over on the other side of the board and we don't have much control on what cards we can play at the moment. So let's see what we got. We got a punch, which is interesting because we do know that if we try and punch this thug, for example, if we haven't dealt with this over here, we know this thug is going to get removed from our progress. So that's interesting. So with that in mind, I think Cyclops, we know we have to play that. I think what I'm going to do with Cyclops instead is place this punch on this Hateful Humans mission card here, because we know that that's not going to get removed. So I think that might be a good opening play, and we'll see where we go from there. Alright, so next character. I would really ideally like to get over here and start getting rid of some of these wild goose chasers too. We'll see what we can do. The next character is Jean Grey. So she's got her move and a punch. She's got a double wild. Ooh, and she's got a wild as well. This could be a little bit dangerous for the end game. And she's also drawing for the start of her turn a telepathy. Telepathy? Telepathy. That's weird. Never had trouble with that word before, but telepathy. It allows her to swap the previous hero card in the storyline with any other hero card in the storyline. Now that could be really useful for manipulating the storyline later in the game. So interesting. We'll see what ends up happening. Okay. Whoop, 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 whoop. Alright, what have we got? We've got the move and punch. Okay, interesting. So, I should put these over here. Okay. So we've got a move and 2 punches now. Very interesting. Well, I think what I want to do with Jean Grey, I'd like to finish this off, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to step over, use my movement. I'm going to use 1 punch. Oh, where have we got? Here they are. 1 punch to place that token down there. And I've got 1 more punch, don't I? So I could punch here, but this is saying Hateful Humans. At the end of the villain turn, after placing any tokens on mission cards, if civilians outnumber thugs in this location, discard thugs. So I probably don't want to get rid of this thug. I probably want him to be holding his own against these humans. So I think I'm going to punch this this thug over here, or this mutant. Alright, so telling him to go home. Alright, so now I would normally place him here on this defeat thugs mission, but with Cameron Hodge you always take them and put them on his dashboard instead when you defeat or rescue them. Alright, if they get discarded by discard effects, you would just discard them rather than putting them on here. They don't count as being defeated or rescued. Alright. And then we've got Beast. Alright, Beast. Oh boy, Beast is another one with a whole bunch of wilds to start with. He's also got this genius intelligence, which could be useful. And that's this turn you can treat heroics as wilds. That's interesting. We also have a regenerating factor. Okay, this is you may draw 3 cards until you have 3 in your hand. Ooh, now that could be one that's not great, having to waste it now too, isn't it? Yeah, so this wild goose chase stuff really does make us a not very effective team. Alright, so let's see how we go. Alright, what have we got? Okay. Oh, it's a double wild. Wow, okay. Double wild. So we've got to make the most of it then, because that's going to be costly later on. So we've got a move and a punch, and we've got 2 wilds. Interesting. Interesting. So I could use that to step over this way, using, for example, the movement. Then I could use the 2 wilds to complete this location. That could be quite good. Or, and then I've got a spare punch. I guess I could punch this guy out, but don't know if I want to do that. Right. I could start going this way too. I could do the 2 wilds here to count as heroics. But then my move and punch is a bit wasted there too. I would be finishing this off though, which is good, but I think what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to use Beast. I think if we can make at least some of these locations over here not ones to cause wild goose chases, that is good. So I'm going to do this. I will use this punch. I may as well. I'll punch that mutant, put 2 on the dashboard. I'll step across using the movement, and I'm going to use the 2 last wilds to clear that location. That is going to put 1 threat cleared. So our missions are the same here in terms of what we're aiming for to make Cameron Hodge vulnerable. But there's no such thing as vulnerable with his health, but what we are looking for is once the second mission is complete, flip the things and flip over his secret files here. So we'll pop this, let's just pop it over here. Alright, and I think we're done with Beast's turn there. Yeah, he did the punch, he moved over, he's done those 2. Now he's going to, for finishing in the hangar bay, he's going to be able to gain a token. So he can gain a movement, a heroic, or a punch. Now looking at this storyline here, there's a few punches there, so maybe a punch might be useful for endgame. But I'm also looking around the place here, what might we need. So that's interesting. There's a lot of heroics around this area, but I'm also mindful that maybe Beast might be able to head over here and start working on the Wild Goose Chase, and to move into the location and have a spare movement is often hard, so I might take a movement token just for now. So Beast is going to take a movement token for ending his turn there, and now it is Cameron Hodge's turn. So we've had 3 hero turns. Cameron Hodge acts like any other villain in that sense. He gets to go after the 3rd hero turn. So what's he up to? Let's have a look what he does. Alright, we'll hold on to that. So, oh no, okay. He's foiled us. Okay, so he's going to... So this is essentially like the anti-mutant protest, but this is... You said we'd be safe. So this is the mutants who you've gathered to your side, the mutants who, you know, looks like we've beaten them up. But what we're really doing is bringing them home to X Factor headquarters and helping them out. They get angry at us because they can see they're being treated badly by Cameron Hodge, and also they can see that we're not a very good team. So they decide to leave us. So what happens is he removes half from our dashboard and places them in his location. So I think he was over here, wasn't he? So he's got to move 4 spots. So 1, 2, 3. Oh no, he lands here. Okay, interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4. So he places another thug down here. Okay. Then, yeah, so he takes half of them, places 1 there. Then we look at that, that's finished. He's landed on our spot. If either of these 2 characters had tokens, like Beast does, we would lose 1 of those tokens each. Okay, but that's not happening. Then we have to go around and look at the end of the turn. These go back onto the mission card. So we take this, put it on the mission card. We're like, yay, we've at least done 1, defeated 1 thug. We've got a little bit of progress happening there, which is why I decided to attack the second one. I thought, well, at least if we've got 2, then at least one we'll get to keep 1. However, unfortunately, he took 1 of them away, and now because this location is has more civilians than humans, we are going to lose this thug, so that gets discarded. So, no progress there. That's not great. Not great. Okay, so let's see if we can get a move on with some of that progress. So that's the end of the turn. None of the other locations have destabilized there. So we've got 4 cards. We've got a double wild for Iceman. We have a what's that? A single punch. We have organic ice body. You cannot take damage until the next turn. And we have, and it's got some heroics there. And then I think we have the single wild as well. Now, interesting. Iceman is now starting his location not adjacent to Wild Goose Chase, so he can choose what to play here. Now, I'd love to play some double wilds here, but I think we need to save these for later on. So, what are we going to look at here? I think, what have I got? Oh, well, I've got some double. Let's make use of this. All right, let's get a move on here. So, I think I definitely want to place two, we're going to use two two heroics here with the wilds to complete this location. There we go. So we're going to place two heroics there from that card there. Or are we? Because what I was thinking was then I'm going to use the last heroic to rescue this civilian, thereby making this location not human heavy, but then I'm actually clearing the threat anyway, so that's not a big concern. So let's have a think about what I want to do instead. So I can use this heroic plus one of the other wilds as my two heroics. That's what I will do. I'll clear that. Okay, that's another threat clear. That's 2 out of the 4 threats that we need to complete that mission out of the way. That leaves me with a movement and a wild. So what do I want to do with the movement and the wild? Well, movement and a wild. I could move over in this direction and start working on this card. I do want to keep these places from overflowing though. And I would like to end... I don't know that I need to end in this location. I've already got 2 characters over here. So what I might do is actually stick with that plan. Rescue this civilian. Do I want to end over here or do I want to end here? I think I might end here so I can start going this way if I need to. And that way I still get to take a token. I might take, with Iceman, I might take a punch so that I can use it over here against these dangerous mutants. I might do that. Okay. So, although he does already have a punch, and I don't want to use these wilds, so maybe to get him moving, I'll take a movement instead. Maybe that's what I'll do. Okay, interesting choices. Okay, so, at least I think they're interesting. I hope they are anyway. Alright, so, yeah, we ended there, so we did our 2 heroics plus another heroic to rescue that guy. We wasted the movement, but we gained a movement token. Okay, interesting. Right. Cyclops. Your turn, buddy. So you're going to draw... And also, we've got the organic ice body, so we cannot take any damage until the beginning of our next turn. So, if Cameron Hodge decides to play some tricks on us, and we're not in Cameron Hodge's location with Iceman, we can make him be the target of that attack and therefore block the damage. What did I just draw then? I think I might have drawn another Optic Blast. I don't remember having 2 of those, so we've got another Optic Blast here. Now, Cyclops, again, is also not in a location next to a Wild Goose Chase, so he is... Oh, I don't even need to shuffle. Just automatic reflex. He doesn't need to do that either, so let's have a think about this. What's he going to do? He could move. I want to get a move on and start rescuing or clearing things. There are more civilians out and about, so I'm thinking of going civilian heavy. But I could just start blasting with optic blasts as well, just to sort of get a move on with those as well. What could I do? I've got a move and a star. Let's do an optic blast. Let's try this, because it does only give 1 symbol at the bottom there, which could be good later on. So let's have a look. Cyclops is going to use his movement to step in. He's going to use a heroic and a punch to place those 2 tokens there. 1 and 2, making the dangerous mutants close to being completed. Then he's going to use his blast in the opposite, on the adjacent locations, to defeat these two thugs here. So, alright, let's see. I really want to get a move on with these, don't I? We need to get over here. We need to really get cracking over here so we can stop losing thugs to this situation. Right. Okay. Boy, oh boy. Alright, what do I want to do? So I've moved, put the two locations out, and then blasted. So I think we're good there. It's now Jean Grey's turn. So she's going to draw another card. She's got herself a single heroic here. Oh, now, this is interesting. She could have a very poor turn here if we don't get a movement symbol. I should have thought about that with Cyclops too. Alright, well, let's have a look here. We've got a single punch coming from Cyclops, and if she's not going to be able to do much with that single punch, is she? Alright, and she has to, because she's next to the X-Jet, she's got to play randomly. Oh, it's a wild. Interesting. So, I guess the wilds aren't great when they come up for a particular reason, but let's make the most of it while we can. So, interesting choice here. We could move away from this X-Jet to give us more choice over what we're playing, or we could move into it, lean in, use the wild to move here so we can start dealing with it. I do want to get over here quickly, so yeah, let's do it. So we'll move in, and we're going to place that punch from Cyclops on this card. Alright, but before we can do anything else, it's now Cameron Hodge's turn. So what's he up to? What's he going to do? Aha, so it's one of his other types of cards. So he's not going to rob us of our spoils here. But he is going to do some bamming and moving around. So let's see where he ends up. Alright, so where is he? 3? So he's going 1, 2, 3. So luckily there's none of our heroes that have tokens get landed on there, so that's fine. He is going to bam. Now his bam says deal a damage to a hero not in Hodge's location. So let's have a look. This says you cannot take damage until the beginning of your next turn. So we will choose Iceman to be that hero who would take the damage. So maybe he gets captured by Loki at this point, and has some experiments done on him, but he's able to survive that with his ice body or whatever it is. So he's fine. He doesn't actually take the damage. So, yeah, deal 1 damage to a hero not in his location. Yep, we'll choose Iceman. He blocks it with that ability there. We're good. But here's a problem. Uh-oh. I didn't really pay attention to the fact there were 3 civilians at the bottom of that card there on that location he lands in. So unfortunately we've got... Oh no, and also this is the Hateful Humans one, so we're definitely going to be locked into mutants being beaten up quite a bit. So we've got 3 civilians want to be placed here, and unfortunately that's going to cause an overflow in that location, and then there's also 1 civilian in each of the adjacent locations there because of the card. But that is going to put a crisis token, so now only 3 more locations with crisis tokens, and it's all she wrote. Okay, he's achieved his agenda, so hopefully that's not going to come to pass. Okay, so we've got to get cracking. Right. Well, there are a lot of civilian... Now, the other thing is at the end... So that's happened. Now it's the end of his turn. We place the 2 thugs down. We place a civilian down. And unfortunately, though, this location means that we're going to lose another thug. So that's not great. Okay. Over here... Oh, now... Over here we have equal power. This one has gone away. But over here, this was... at the end of the villain turn, if thugs outnumber civilians in this location, discard a civilian. So this is actually good because the civilians are outnumbering thugs here, and there's 2 of them already, so we're pretty safe this one's probably not going to affect us too much, but if we just keep leaving it like that, it might fill up and then we're getting the crisis token, so that's not good either. Alright, well let's have a look, let's keep going. It's now, whose turn is it? Beast's turn? Yeah, I think it might be Beast's turn. So Beast has got a movement, so he is going to have to play randomly, but at least we've got a movement token, and we've just drawn another Genius Intelligence. He's going to have to play randomly, but we do have that movement token to get him into the X-Jet location, if that's what we decide to do, based on what we draw here. Alright, what do we have? And what have I given myself? I've given myself a wild with Jean Grey, so that's not bad either. Okay, what have we got? Genius Intelligence. Well, this seems to work out alright. So, let's see. We've got one move, which we'll use our movement token for, I guess, or we'll use the wild to move him in. We'll use our movement token to place that one there. And then we'll play this star on the Wild Goose Chase. And that, I think that's what we want to do. I would like to start clearing some of these guys, but I think we need to get rid of this. Alright, Wild Goose Chase, away you go. That's going to put us one more threat closer. Okay. Bad news is we've only got to clear one more threat now, but we're nowhere near clearing enough of these civilians, are we? So we've got to get moving on that. Who's after Beast? It's going to be Iceman. Now Iceman has plenty of options here. So he's got a punch, he's got a wild, he's got his double wild, and he's got cryokinesis. Attach a stun token to a villain or henchman, and then next villain turn their BAM is cancelled. I'll hold that up for a little bit longer so you can see it if you haven't read that one before. Okay. And I've got a heroic, I've got a move token. I think I want to start rescuing some people, so let's do that. Let's, in the interest of just rescuing as quick as we can, let's use Iceman with that one there. We're going to use our movement token. We're going to step into the hangar bay. We're going to use our two heroics there to rescue two civilians. And then we're going to end our turn here. And what am I going to take? I think I'll take... I think we're still going to be wanting to rescue for a while, aren't we? So I'll take another heroic token. Considering I know Iceman has a punch here, I think. So let's take a heroic. Okay. And it's now Cyclops' turn, I think. And then it will be Cameron Hodge. So we'll draw a card. Cyclops is over here dealing with the Morlocks. He's got a single heroic that I've given him to work with over there. I've got a move and a heroic as well. I've got my optic blasts. Yeah, not bad. But I think I'm going to use... the move and the heroic here. So let's go rescue. Since I think the Morlock tunnels, when you remove them, I think they keep adding tokens here, so they're going to fill up really quickly. So we don't want that happening if we can avoid it. So I'll rescue from here. Now if thugs, although actually. Okay, sorry folks. A little bit of an interruption there, but I think I think if I remember correctly, we were just having a turn with Cyclops. So let's have a look. I think I just played that out, and he was going to move and rescue a couple of civilians, and I think I had talked myself out of rescuing this civilian, because that would have meant that the mutants overwhelmed people with the dangerous mutants over here, and that was going to that was going to mean we were going to start losing civilians, and if that's what we're going to try and lean into, we don't want to do that. So we yeah, we might want to think about that. So all right, so it might be worth taking out a couple of thugs over here too. But if not, we could move in here. We could rescue these two with our 2 heroics. That would put 4 on the dashboard, and then hopefully he won't steal a bunch of those off us with an anti-mutant protest. So that could be, yeah, that could be interesting. All right, so now we did just rescue a couple from there. So now if thugs start coming down here, we're going to be losing these civilians too, aren't we? Right, that's interesting as well. We certainly, maybe we want to really get rid of these. We really want to start rescuing these civilians up here because they're the ones causing all the trouble too. Right. Alright, well I think that's the best we're going to get out of that turn now, I think. I don't want to complete this mission yet because I don't want to put him under pressure. Okay. So, what's he going to do? Please don't be an anti-mutant protest. What's he going to do? Oh no. What's he up to? Oh, he's going to bam. Interesting. Oh, it looks like he's putting a bunch of cards out though, isn't he? Not cards, a bunch of tokens. I hope they're not going to cause us too much strife here. It looks like they are going to cause a little bit of trouble. So, he's going to move in. He's going to bam. Now, Iceman has now had another turn. So Iceman is no longer immune to damage. So now we are going to have to pick someone other than Cyclops, someone not in his location, to take a damage. Cyclops has also ended up in his location, or he's ended up in Cyclops' location, but Cyclops didn't have a token, so we don't have to worry about that. Have we played a regenerating theme for Beast? We haven't, have we? So maybe Beast can take the hit. Which one are we going to lose? Maybe let's lose this single wild for Beast. And then he could maybe regenerate that down the track. Alright, so we've taken damage there. Then we're now going to... Oh, I wonder if I ended a turn... I think I forgot about this training card spot here too. I wonder if I ended a turn here with the character where I could have taken a training card instead. Oh well, see if I can remember that later on. Now, we've got... I'm sure I took the token anyway, so I still got benefit for the end of turn effect. So there's no other BAM effect going on here, but we are going to place a bunch of civilians. So we're going to put 2 civilians in this spot. Oh goodness, now do we want Morlocks outnumbering? What's happening here? So it's bad if the mutants outnumber here, so this is not too bad apart from the fact that it's very close to overflowing. Then we also want to put one here. This can be little Scott Summers baby over here. There we go. Is it Nathan Summers or... I forget which Summers that is. I think it's Cable or something. Alright, so that's there, but unfortunately we're also supposed to put 2 in this location. That's going to cause a crisis token. And in my infinite wisdom, I decided that they should cascade instead. So, yep, looks like Central Park is going to be in chaos as well. Alright, now I wish I'd taken a location where you could remove crisis tokens. There you go. Well, if you're looking for a way to make this mission easier, take one of those effects where you can remove crisis tokens. So, we've done that. Let's now have a look. So we've done that. We're now going to place all of these, which is very lucky. Now we've finally got some progress on this mission card here. We're going to place those here, but then we have to go around and look. So the mutants outnumber? No, they don't. No, they don't. But here we do have these guys outnumber, so we're actually going to lose this thug that we had worked on there as well. So that's a bit of a shame there, but we're really leaning into this rescue civilians thing now, aren't we? Okay, so well, it's now Jean Grey's turn. So she has, at least we can choose what cards we're going to play now, right? So she's going to draw a major telekinesis power, which is going to let her punch and do a heroic. Split as you like in your and adjacent locations. She's got the telepathy where she can swap cards around. I might try and save that for later. And she's got a double wild, which would be really handy, but I don't quite want to use it yet. Where is she? She's over here. I don't want this place overflowing. So, what have we got here? Movement. Alright, maybe let's play this one. Maybe let's play Major Telekinesis. That's going to allow us to, we can clear one from here. We've got a heroic here, so let's rescue one civilian. Let's head this way. Let's rescue another civilian here. And let's also, since this place is so heavily full of thugs, let's defeat a thug here anyway. I really am thinking I should not have started working on this dangerous mutants over here, because that's going to cause a problem with Morlock tunnels. But now I've already invested here, so it's like, ugh, I don't really know if I want to keep putting things on these ones as well. Okay, so we've rescued two, done that. Now we can move once more. Do I want to move again? If I moved once more, I could end up here. And then that would allow me to then move wherever I want. And maybe being over here could be useful down the track, but I think someone else is going to get there first. So maybe let's end in the X Factor headquarters so we can either be gaining tokens or gaining these training cards. Could be handy. Alright, so now whose turn? So this is going to give us enough for two, so it's now Beast's turn. So Beast could do a regenerating factor here. He's got a move and a punch. He's also got a genius intelligence. This turn you can treat heroics as wilds. That could be quite interesting. I've given myself a movement. If I'm not rescuing civilians, I feel like I'm not doing much for the cause. And considering where he is, I don't think these punch cards, as much as I'd like to heal up with Beast, I don't think I'm going to do that. So I'm going to play this one. I'm going to move and do a heroic, and the heroics can be wilds, but it doesn't really matter. Well, let's rescue from this location. I could go this way, but I think I'm going to step into the hangar bay to give myself another token. Now, what do I want with Beast? He's got a bunch of punches, so maybe let's go a heroic. Considering there's a lot of heroics out as well, that might be handy down the track. And it's now Iceman's turn. He does have a heroic, so that's cool. And he's going to draw a card. He's got a move and a punch he just drew. He's also got his wilds, and he's got a single punch. Right, you're a bit stuck out in the middle of nowhere here, aren't you? If I use... I've got a heroic, which is not doing much for me. Oh, I should have thought about this with Beast, actually. Probably should have gone and rescued some guys over here, because now there's not as much for Iceman to do. Well, you know what? Let's do it. Let's go this way. I'm going to have to play the move and the punch. Costly. I'm going to use... I'm not going to use this heroic though, because I do have a heroic here. I'm going to rescue that civilian, and if we don't get those stolen from us, then we've made him vulnerable, or made him under pressure, so that's cool. So, now, yes, let's see. So, just thinking about that. Where do I want to end up? I think maybe with him, I want to end over here, just so that I can be in this location to start clearing this away if I need to, so we don't get overflows. Yeah. Okay. As much as I'd like to gain some more tokens, I think that might be worthwhile. I wonder. Interesting. Okay, so now Cameron Hodge. Okay, so Cameron Hodge is going to take his turn, and I didn't use the punch because there's no one to punch, but I wanted to have that movement so I could get over here and get that last guy. All right, so let's see. We're going to draw a card. Oh, what's he up to? What is he up to? Oh no, it's anti-mutant protest. No. Okay. So he's going to move 5. Oh, this is really bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He lands in Iceman's location, steals his token. He's going to take half of the civilians, put them back out on the board, starting in his location and moving clockwise. Then we get to place 2 out, but now we're still 2 behind. Oh, not great. Not great at all. Okay. Oh, you dastardly fellow. Alright, so... that's so bad. I was so close. So close. I would have been able to step in there and start working on things. So now we're going to have to go around again. Alright, so that's the end of his turn. We put the things out. This one at least gets to go down here. Then we go back around. We've got our hateful humans looking pretty bad there, so we lose this guy here. Our dangerous mutants are not looking very dangerous here, so we don't lose any civilians, so that's at least 1 plus. Okay. And I guess he didn't drop a bunch of guys and put Croesus tokens everywhere, so that's also good too. Alright. Cyclops, what are you up to, buddy? You are going to... You've got your double... So the wilds, if I can just finish things off quickly, the wilds are going to help us race the end game, hopefully. I've got a move and a punch. And I've got some heroics here. I think I'm going to use my heroics here. So let's go. I can move, I can punch. So let's go move. Oh, I've got this punch here as well. Let's punch. Considering these guys are going to start filling up a lot too, aren't they? If we end our turn here, that is. Alright, so I'm going to do that. Then, oh, sorry, nope, I'm not going to do that. They go here. Alright, so he's going to step in here. He's going to put the 2, rescue those 2. He's also going to punch. Ooh, I don't know, that's a good idea. Yeah, okay. Okay. I'm going to put that one there. Then, or am I going to use the punch for clearing that? Oh, but then I'm ending my turn there, aren't I? No, I think I'm going to punch him. Alright, so next round, who is it? Beast, where are you, Beast? You're a bit far away, buddy. Oh man, I've given you 2 heroics, and what are you going to use them on? Not much. Did not think about that, did I? Alright, Beast, what have you got for us? He's got a move. He's got move and punches. That's all he's got. Well, let's play the regenerating factor, since we're going to have to play a move and a punch. At least this way we can draw another card. So let's draw another card. We have a move and a heroic. But since we only have 1 move, that's not going to get us anywhere that we can really use. So, alright, I'm going to move here. And I guess, as much as I'd like to take a training thing, I probably should be taking these tokens, since that's going to help us out. But you know what? Let's take a training instead anyway. This says, add a movement symbol to the bottom of the card you're currently playing. Oh. Valid as long as it's in the storyline. That could be handy. So that's going to be Beast's Beast's little training card there. I don't know if I held that up. I'll hold that up for the screen. There we go. Oh, I didn't make much progress there though, did I? A little bit of a dead turn. That's really bad. Alright, he's not under pressure though at the moment, so I do get 1 more turn, and that's going to be... No, sorry. I played the wrong character. Oh, whoopsie daisy. Alright, well, I'm going to have to put that back. I'll have to shuffle that back in. I'll have to shuffle this. I think he drew a star, didn't he? It's not Beast's turn at all. Oh, you know what? Oh, well, I'm shuffling anyway, but I drew a move and a punch, didn't I? Not the move and the star was the one he drew for regenerating, but he wouldn't have had his turn yet, so I'll just shuffle that whole deck. I guess I should have, you know, putting the... I think he's taken the damage, so I should have had that card at the bottom, but anyway, it is what it is. Sorry about that, folks. It should have been Jean Grey's turn. So what's she got? She's got telepathy. And where is she? Beast was over here. She's got a couple of telepathies. She's got a heroic given her. Oh, she's kind of stuck here, isn't she? Swap the previous hero card in the storyline with another hero card in the storyline. Well, what do I need out of her turn? Maybe it's time to play that. Maybe we play, maybe we risk it with this wild. Alright, so, telepathy. Alright, Jean. So, she can swap the previous hero card in the storyline with any other hero card in the storyline. So, what do we want? We want to be able to get over here. And we want to punch. But ideally we want to be able to move again. If we got like multiple movements, I suppose we could use this as a multiple movement, so maybe a move and a punch. Yeah, maybe a move and a punch. Let's swap these two around maybe. Or can we take a move and a punch from somewhere else? Maybe this move and punch over here. Alright, so we'll put that double star over here. Move and a punch. Okay, so let me think about this. Okay, so she's going to use the move, then use the punch to clear that location. Okay, clears the threats. Right. Puts that away. Where are our threats? Are they over here? That's now one mission complete, but so we've moved in, we've done the punch. Now we're going to use this wild to move away. Now which way do we want to move? We could move this way, but I think I would rather move here. Oh, and you know what? I think I have to go back and retroactively do something here as well. Iceman ended his turn here, so he's actually taking a damage there. I shouldn't have put him there, should I? Let's lose the single punch. So he would have taken a damage for being in this hateful human spot when that ended. Alright, so now, because she's moving back here, she's not, you must add a civilian and a thug to this location. So because she's moving away from there, not ending there, that doesn't take effect. So if we maybe just try and stay away from here from now on. Now I can gain myself another token here, or I can gain a training card. Well, I did say we were going to take training cards, didn't we? So let's do it. So what have we got this time? It says draw a card and discard one. Ooh! Draw a card and discard a crisis token from anywhere. Very handy. There we go. Alright, that's not too bad. Now, we've put him under pressure. That's one mission complete. Now, because he's under pressure, and we've just had 2 hero turns, and I'm wondering why are there 2 Jean Greys here, but that's because we swapped that card with the telepathy, didn't we? I think that's how that works. Swap the previous hero card in the storyline with any other hero card in the storyline. It doesn't have to be hers. Yeah, okay. So that means he's going to go now. So if he doesn't get an anti-mutant protest thing here, that means we're going to have completed the objective. Alright. Hopefully, unless he does something crazy with the dangerous mutants. Alright, here we go. Oh, you wouldn't believe it. I think I just saw that that's a... Oh my goodness. No way. Alright, so... What a tricky guy. Alright, so he's not moving. He's going to rob us of this one, placing it out here. He's going to place one back here. He is ending his movement in this location. Iceman would have lost a token, but he's not losing another one. But he is about to end his turn in this location again. We really got to get him out of there. He's lost another card. Boy, oh boy, that's not good. And that was a bad play, putting him over here. Not good at all. That did not work out at all. And then we have this thug goes here, but he would have also got... He gets taken away from there as well. So, oh no. Okay, Cameron Hodge, you are really making us work hard for it today. So let's see. Whose turn now? Beast. Alright, Beast. He's drawing a card. He gets a single heroic. Not great. So I guess we could do this. What do we need? We need to rescue one more civilian. I've given myself a wild, so that's not bad. But I'm nowhere near any civilians to rescue them. That's not good at all. So again, Beast is back to having a bit of a wasted turn. Although, actually, he's got this heroic though, doesn't he? So if I use a move and a punch and do a... Yeah, let's do it. He's going to move and punch. He's going to use this wild as an extra movement, so he's going once... Oh, he doesn't want to end here though, does he? So he's going to go... Oh, he could get damaged here, but still he's healing, I guess. Once, twice. Rescuing from there with the heroic symbol. So he's moving once, twice, so once, twice. Rescuing, he's got to waste the punch, he can't... Oh, actually, you know what? He can put the punch on here. That way we can maybe work on that. Okay, and then it's now... And he's got to draw a card for that healing factor. He gets another move and punch. And now it's Iceman's turn. Alright, Iceman. I'd say, Iceman, you should move away from there. So I've given you a movement and a punch, and I've got this one here. So I'm going to play the cryokinesis. Let's do it. So let's put a stun token on Cameron Hodge. Okay, and this bam. There we go. Now we'll move away from this spot. Let's move here. Where are we going to rescue? Let's rescue from here first before we move away. That's 2. So even if he steals one, we're still going to be able to complete the mission. So that's good. Okay. So he's moved away, he's rescued, and he's done a punch on... Did he have a punch? I think Beast might have put this punch down, so let's maybe put another punch over here. Okay. Now, now, let's see. And now, let's see. I think we're up to... I think it's Cameron Hodge's turn. Yep. Now, here's the good news. We've had one anti-mutant protest, another anti-mutant protest, and another one. So at this point where we're worried about him stealing our civilians, pretty sure he's not actually going to do any more anti-mutant protests. So let's see. What's he going to do? Because I think there's only 3 in the deck. He's about to do a BAM. Okay, so he's going to move 4. Where are you, buddy? 1, 2, 3, 4. Over to the hangar bay. He's not going to BAM because we did put the stun token on him. I think that's what that cryokinesis was all about. Attach a stun token. Yep. Okay. Next turn, their BAM is cancelled. We also, so we don't have to worry about that, but we do have to worry about him dropping these down. So he's going to put 1, 2 civilians here, and another couple, 1 here, and 1 here. Whoops, over here. Okay. So, now, at the end of his turn, we pop these, both of them here. One gets wasted. Yeah, that is now cleared that mission though. So that's all done. Actually, before we do that, we should check to see, are any of these going to rob us of any of these at the last minute? This is only going to rob us of thugs, which there are no thugs there, but it is going to cause damage to Beast, so Beast is going to have to take a hit. Beast, we might lose a single heroic at the moment. There we go. Alright. Then we have... over here, the thugs, the thugs don't outnumber the civilians, so we're okay here, and that's the only 2 threat cards left. Okay, so we do place this out. That completes the second mission. Well, we are nowhere near doing the thugs, are we? Though we had them stolen from us all game. So at that point, so at the end of his turn, mission is now completed. So what we do is we go through these steps. So Hodge, when the second mission is complete, flip any remaining threat cards. So this gets removed, and now we've got a couple of smile face soldiers. Okay, so they're going to have 3 health each. Okay, now they come in after the end of his turn, so they're not actually activating their BAMs. You can have 3 health each. So these guys, the smile face soldiers, are essentially the sort of anti-mutant fanatic sort of racist guys that Cameron Hodge has secretly been the leader of all along, and they're basically got these sort of commando armor suits that they fly around and attack mutants with. So smile face soldiers. Now I don't know if they have ever officially had a name, but these sort of weird robotic looking suits they wear. Cyclops in one of the battles, he calls them, I'll go get the smile faces or something like that. So that's where I've got the name from. Okay, so smile face soldiers, they've appeared. They're in these 2 spots. What they do is, when there's a BAM called, they move to the clockwise to the next location without a threat card, and then they deal 1 damage to all heroes in that location, and they add a human to that location. They add a civilian, and so they essentially are flying around, causing damage, and potentially putting more tokens out, making it more dangerous for the overflows to occur. So let's see. I think we're going to have the first of the hero turns after this effect. So the other thing we have to do, so we've done that, we've put the two smile face soldiers out. We then, it says, replace the location opposite X Factor headquarters. So we're going to take New York, we're going to remove these guys here, which is lucky, and we're going to reset them with a civilian and a thug. We're going to keep the crisis token there and the smile face soldier there. Alright, so this is actually Cameron Hodge's secret base. He's a head of the organization called The Right, which these smile face soldiers are a part of, and Cameron Hodge is their commander. Okay, now this has a special rule here. It's got 4 spaces, 2 of which start covered up. If the villain ends their turn in this location, all heroes around the board lose a token. Okay, so let's see. After that, we flip the Hodges card over and we have a read of what that says. So it says, righting your wrong. So we've realized that we've been working for the bad guy all along. Alright. Heroes may now use actions to place a matching action token. So we can use our actions to place the tokens out onto a symbol on the bottom of the hero card in the storyline marked by a reminder token. And I think that actually is on here. It says, yeah, place the reminder token on the last played hero card. So we're going to play that reminder token on Iceman here. Okay, so we can place, by playing our actions, we can place action tokens on the bottom of the hero card in the storyline marked by the reminder token. A wild symbol may be covered by spending a wild action or any 2 other actions. So they're really expensive. Unless you've got wilds left to use on them, they take 2 actions to cover up, which is why I was so hesitant to want to use those throughout the game. Once all symbols on the bottom of a hero card have been covered, move the reminder token to the next hero card to the left in the storyline. So you're basically working your way backwards, undoing all the bad stuff that you've done. Okay, trying to regain your PR image, trying to put right all the things that you did wrong, all the harm you did to mutants and mutant-human relations. Alright. So you want to get all the way back, and if there's no such card, because you've got to the end of the line, then the heroes win. So basically, for us to win, we don't damage Cameron Hodge. We've got to survive. We've got to keep the crisis from overflowing, and we've got to get place tokens on all of these symbols all the way around. Now, he got pretty far around before we got this, so this is going to be a bit of a tall order. We'll see how we go, but hopefully we've got enough maybe token banks and things like that that we can use that could help us. All right, so let's have a look. It is going to be, after Iceman, is Cyclops. All right, so Cyclops is going to draw a card. Where are you, Cyclops? Now, we've got to be mindful. We probably don't want him to end his turn here, because then we're going to fill this up prematurely. So we probably want to move from there. Right, so with that in mind, we've got a star here as well, which is interesting. So what we're probably going to want to do is play... feels a bit of a waste using these double wilds, but I think I'm going to do it. Alright, so let's use the double wild. Bit of a waste, but so what happens is we look at we get to use our cards plus the previous cards as always, and because this one, so essentially whenever you place the reminder token down, that's always going to, in the first turn when you're doing this, it's always going to cover itself. Essentially we can use that to cover that one there. Then we move this across. Now we have these 2, so we could cover these 2 really nice and easily. It might be good to save these for, when these are coming up, but I do want to get him out of here, and I don't think I had another movement there, did I? No, so I'm going to use this movement to step out, okay, into the X Factor headquarters. So that's one there, and I will use the other wild token, having a look at who's coming up next with Jean Grey and what she's got. Doesn't really matter a lot. She's got a bunch of these wilds, so I might... what do I play? Let's see. I might play my let's maybe play the movement. Okay, so we've got a punch left. Okay, alright, so we'll play the movement there. We haven't completed that one yet, so we used one of the wilds to move. Now here we've got these left coming up. I can see a bunch of movements and a bunch of punches. Cyclops has some punching stuff there, so maybe I'll take a movement. Okay, movement with Cyclops. Alright, now it's going to be Jean Grey's turn. She's got two heroics there that she's just drawn. She's also got this ability here, which is interesting. So let's have a look here. Draw one card and discard one crisis token from anywhere. So that could be really useful. Oh, sorry, this crisis token should be over here. So if we get two more crisis tokens, that's bad news. So draw one card and discard a crisis token. Wow, that's pretty good. That's just like buffing yourself up. Really? Discard to draw one card and discard a crisis token from anywhere. Don't mind if I do. Alright, well let's do that. So we'll draw another card and let's put this over here in the discard pile. And I can remove a crisis token. So I think this one's probably not a bad one to get rid of since it's closer to filling up, so I'll get rid of that crisis token. So there we go. Alright, we've cleaned up the right secret base there. Okay. Now I just drew, I think, a major telekinesis as well. Alright. Now this one says heroic and punch split as you like in your and adjacent locations, so these punches and stars can't be put onto the thing because it specifically says to put them in locations and I can't use it on the storyline, so that's just a interesting thing there. Now we've got a wild symbol coming up here, so what I might do is I might play this. How many double wilds have we got out? One. He's played his, so she plays hers. We're not going to have much left until we get here, so Iceman's got his sitting there. I just wonder if it might be worth just playing the single one. We probably don't want to swap this to use the telepathy because we've got a double wild sitting there already as well. So that's not great. What else have we got there? We've got a move and a punch. I think we might just use our double wilds and just try and race back as quick as we can. So always not a bad idea to use double wilds. So so Jean Grey's going to play that down. So she is basically going to have 4 wilds at her disposal. She probably isn't going to move from this location either, so I don't really need to worry about that. These places haven't filled up too badly, so let's just try and race our way back. So that's a wild here, 1. That moves us over here. That's another wild here. That moves us over here. We've got 1 more wild. If I look at who's coming up, Beast has a punch and a move there, so it doesn't really matter which one I use. I think I will use, I guess in case Beast want to move, I'll cover that up there. Alright. Although he could just punch out that thug there with the punch, couldn't he? So let's maybe use that. Yeah, okay. Alright, so here we go. We're up to 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I placed all 4 of them out. Or did I? 1, 2, 3. Was one of these already full? So that was already full. So I put 1, 2, 3. Maybe I do have another one. Is that right? Because I think I must have covered that with Cyclops's wild. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's right. I think I've cleared that. Alright. Apologies if that's cheating. Alright, so I think I got myself confused there, but I think that's right now. I think that's okay. So, now, Cameron Hodge, what's he going to do? He's only got a few cards left, so we're running out of time, plus he could get us with the crisis tokens, but we were lucky to get that that training thing there. Now, Jean Grey, before she finishes her turn as well, she might take, let's take another symbol. There do seem to be quite a few heroics coming through here and movements. Let's take a heroic. You can take a heroic there. Alright, Cameron Hodge, you said we'd be safe, so he's going to move 1. So it's another one of these ones. He's going to try and steal thugs, which we don't have, which we know means he's going to start putting a lot of thugs out. So he's going to place 1 here, 1 here, and 1 over here. Now, we got lucky that they didn't land. Oh, well, there are no dangerous mutant spots anymore, are there? That's lucky. Alright, and there's no BAM there either, which is lucky, so it means the smile-faced soldiers are not going to activate. Alright. But we did just fill up a bunch of locations pretty heavily, so that's not good either. Okay, how quickly can we get back around here? Okay. So, Beast is going to draw a card. Don't think there's anything else going on. We haven't rescued anyone, punched anyone. Okay, I think we're okay. So, Beast has got 2 move and punches. He's got a move and a heroic, which allows him to heal up to 3, but he's already on full health, I think. Oh no, he's not. Yeah, so that could be good, but what do we need from him? We do need move and punches at the moment. But then we've got the double wild, so the move and the star might also be good as well. And considering there are more move and stars coming up, let's do that one. So we'll play the move and the star, the regenerate, that lets him heal. This is going to let him now. This is dangerous because we are leaving these places open to overflow as well, but if we use these, we can use the 2 heroics, or the 2 wilds I should say, to clear these 2. That's going to let us go to here. We'll use a star and we'll use the movement. 1, 2, because that will move to there. And that sends us over this way. And we've used our moving star there. So we're flying around, so we're going to be racing against time here. I don't like how close these are to overflowing. Alright, so he's now we've got 1 more turn with our heroes. That's Iceman. Now, Iceman does have a double wild. Oof. He does have a double wild. Where are you, Iceman? You're over there. But if we use the double wild, have we got any more telepathy? We do have telepathy with Jean Grey, because I'm just mindful that there's some more double wilds coming up here. But maybe we can use telepathy to our advantage to sort of bring some more double wilds back or something like that. Or what we could do is we could use the double wild to move that out of there or something like that. That could be useful. Alright. So we'll put our double wild down. I don't know if that's going to work, but we'll see. So that now, okay, are we going to start working on these or are we just going to go with it? Let's have a look. 1, 2, a move and a heroic. There we go. Oopsie daisy, we'll move that across. I think we're looking good here. Okay, that's from Beast's card. Then the two wilds here will move across there, so we've now spent that on the 2. Well, we should put wilds down, shouldn't we? Technically. Okay, we used that there. But now Cameron Hodge is going again. Okay. We have, what do we have? 5 and a BAM, and he's putting a bunch of thugs down. Well, let's have a look here. So, he's moving 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Uh-oh. He's going to put, well, sorry, first of all, he's going to do a BAM. So his BAM is dealing a damage to any hero not in his location. Also, he didn't land in this spot. He didn't land on a person, so we're not going to lose our tokens, which is lucky. So what's he going to do? We've got these 2. We don't want to lose Iceman. Iceman might get attacked as well by these guys. So what could we afford to lose? We could afford to lose a single heroic with Jean Grey. Yeah, I think that's probably our best bet. So Jean Grey's going to take the hit. Okay, she's not in his location. She'll take the hit. All right, and then so you've got to think about who's going to take the hits in these cases. Who's better positioned to do better things with their turn. So he's done the BAM, but now we've got the other BAMs as well. So we have this smile face soldier. So let's have a look. It says, move this threat clockwise to the next location without a threat card. So it's going to go around to the Morlock tunnels. It's going to deal a damage to all heroes in that location. So we're lucky that they were there. And it's going to add a thug to that spot there. I guess we just move this over here, right? And he's going to add not a thug, a civilian. Now this has opened up the right secret bases location ability. This says you may discard a card from your hand if you end your turn here to the bottom of your deck, so you can take a damage to flip the card with the reminder token and move the token to the next one, so you can get like a free bump on the track. So the idea is that with all this extra token stuff from the X Factor and from these ones here, it just alleviates those problems where you might have a game where you can kind of see mathematically what you get to a certain point that you're just not going to have enough, you don't have enough symbols and things like that to get around. That can sort of feel a little bit unfun. If you can sort of see ahead of time that you're not going to mathematically be able to sort of put the right symbols out. So this gives you some other ways you can sort of mitigate that. You can try and engineer some ways to sort of get around it. Okay, now is it all she wrote for us at the moment though? Because that one happened there, so we did that BAM that flew around this way. This BAM is going to occur as well, so he's actually going to fly around here. And now we've got another civilian coming out here. And he's also going to deal a damage to Cyclops and Jean Grey. So Cyclops, what are you going to lose, buddy? Where are we? What do we need? Punches in both adjacent locations. I mean, we could... Maybe let's get rid of that one. Maybe we don't need that as much. Alright. I don't see a lot of punches along here that people are going to use. So there we go. And Jean Grey's going to lose another one. Luckily she was able to buff up with that training. So she's actually not going to be that damaged by it. Maybe let's get rid of this telekinesis one here. Because I think the double stars could be handy here potentially. And having this ability to swap things might be good too. So, alright. Alright, so they've both got injured there. Then, he's placing out 2 thugs in this location and 1 thug in each adjacent location. So they're now, that's full, that's almost full, and this one actually does get a crisis token, which if we hadn't have got that training card over there, that would put us on 3 places which have crisis tokens, so we'd be 1 away from losing. We're currently now 2 away from losing. So do we have enough time to get back along here? Let's have a look here. Whose turn? Cyclops, I think. Alright, Cyclops, you've got a movement. I've got to remember you have a movement here. You've just drawn yourself 2 heroics. Now, let's see. You have 2 wilds. So if I play 2 heroics down, where are we? We're over here. And we've got a movement. That could get us a fair way along. But if I play... Oh, we've got to get rid of that punch there. I'm just thinking we play the 2 heroics, that's good. But if I play this is a heroic and giving a wild to the next hero, which could be Jean Grey, and that could be more useful if we've got these wilds over here. So I think I'm going to play the leadership card instead. Alright. Leadership. We're going to undo our work for Cameron Hodge by using leadership here. So we've got a move, a heroic, and 2 wilds. So let's see, we definitely need to use... Oh, I forgot there's another... I've got to clear this wild here too. That's not good, is it? What have I got here? Oh goodness. Alright, so let's use this wild. So, 1 wild here. Oof. Let's move that across. We'll use the 2nd wild to clear this punch, which we didn't have access to. So we'll use another wild here to clear the punch. Then we're going to use the movement token and the heroic symbol from... We had the token, plus we've got the heroic symbol from our card. We're going to place that there. Now we just have these three cards, 5 actions though. 5 actions. Do we have enough? I'm going to give a wild token to Jean Grey for the leadership. To any other hero, it doesn't have to be in the same location, although they do happen to be in the same location, so that's fine. Now, Jean Grey, what do you have for us, Jean Grey? You've got... this could be good. Alright, this could be good. She's going to draw another card. She's got a move and a heroic, which isn't that helpful with what we've got coming up. I think our best bet here is either we've got this double heroic, which could be good for clearing this part. We've got a single heroic here though, and we have our heroic token here, so that's not too bad. We've got this wild. But what we could do is, let's have a think about this. If we use the telepathy, put this in, that gives us a wild instead of 2 heroics. But then we could take this and swap it with a double wild from somewhere. So let's take Cyclops' double wild here, put that there. Okay. Then, I don't know if we've got enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that enough? I think that's enough. Alright, let's have a look. So, whew, some finagling there by Jean Grey. We've just made it. Let's have a look. So, that's 2 wilds. 1, and let's just pretend we've got another wild here. Alright, that's 2 wilds there. Then we've got her single... Well, I think I just put out the wild from her. We had that spare wild, didn't we? So I should actually just put out these. So that's the 2 wilds from this card. Then she's got her own wild. So she puts that one out. She's got her own wild, so let's just cover. Okay, she's got her own wild there. Then she's got this wild token which Cyclops had given her. Oops, no, hold on. We'll use the heroic symbol she gained from the X-Factor headquarters. We'll do that. And then the Cyclops gave her the last wild from his leadership card. So that will go there. And we have cleared Cameron Hodge. So we've got victory there. All right, a little bit hard to follow there. We had a little bit of an interruption and things like that. But and I made a mistake with Beast Turn, didn't I? A while back. But I think yeah, we got there. Let's have a look and see, because we were pretty. What did we have? 1, 2. These places were pretty full up. Let's just see if we'd had to go one more turn, because we got real lucky there. If we'd got one more turn, he had 2 cards left, so we were okay with that. We didn't get too many KOs and stuff. But let's see what he would have done. Would he have done enough to overflow? I'm hoping he would have ended up over here and maybe not done enough to overflow over here, but we'll see. So he would have done a 2 move and a bam. So what would he have done? 1, 2. Oh, well, this is already looking not great. He would have bammed, so he would have done a damage to someone. We probably could have afforded to take that on, say, Beast. Alright. Then he would have... oh, you know what I forgot to do with Cyclops too? I forgot to gain a token from being there, but he wouldn't have been able to use that anyway. So Beast would have taken a hit. No, Beast wouldn't have taken a hit, sorry, because Beast is in his location. So let's say we would have taken it from... Cyclops can take the hit. Can he? Yeah, I guess. One of them is going to have to take the hit. Okay, now, then this is where the problem comes in, because he drops a bunch of stuff here. So he drops one civilian here. That's not, sorry, not one civilian, one thug. That's not too bad. But he overflows in the X-Jet location. So he places one more crisis token. That's 1, 2, 3 down. Then he would have placed 2 over here. Okay. And luckily no overflow here. But actually, and even before that happened, before the placing of the tokens down, what we should have done was the rest of the BAM effects. So this smile face soldier would have moved over here. No, hold on, not that one. Going around this way, this one would have moved. This would have flown over this way, and that would have caused the problem because it would have wanted to place a crisis token here, and it couldn't. So if there's already a crisis token in that location, add a crisis token to the next clockwise location without one. So we would have had to go right around here, and that would have been 1, 2, 3, 4, and game would have been over there too. And unfortunately, the next smile face soldier would have done the same thing. He would have flown over here and wanted to place one here. Couldn't have done that, so we would have actually ended up with 5 of the locations just from that last turn there. So very close, very close. So hopefully you can see the effect of these guys. They sort of really, they don't seem like they do a lot initially, but they sort of ramp up that sort of that pace of the locations filling up, sort of thing. So, and especially if you're deciding to really try and race it back and not paying attention to using a couple of your symbols for clearing, that end game can sort of like really catch up on you, sort of thing, or catch up to you, sort of thing. So yeah, well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I really hope that I explained that well and explained how Cameron Hodge is supposed to work, and you can sort of see the intention behind how all the sort of the story elements hang together and how the mechanics work and that sort of thing as well. So yeah, but oh wow, that was you really put me through my paces there. That was I had to sort of pull out all the stops to try and work out the correct way to do that. You can also see that if you are not using wilds, essentially if you're keeping the wild cards out, that you're not going to be obviously sort of racing up the track as much, but also you're not going to have as many big obstacles in your way going back around again. You don't have to worry about wilds and that sort of thing. So, but I think just having the wilds as well can be handy because it gives you that flexibility. If you are lucky enough to be able to save them towards the end, they give you a lot of freedom to sort of go through and not be so careful about which cards to play in order and that sort of thing. So yeah, I hope you guys thought that was cool. Let us know your thoughts and that sort of thing. Definitely, if it looked interesting to you, you can print it out, do a home copy or get them professionally printed. There are files for either choice. Actually, now that I've said that, I don't know. Oh, I think there is. Yeah, I think Lukey19 has given us home print files and also the professional print files. So you can access them at the Marvel United Discord. You can also access them at the Marvel United wiki page in the Homebrew file section there. So I'll put some links up once the video sort of downloads and I get a chance to do that. So yeah, if this looks like a bit of fun to you, yeah, print him out and yeah, give old Cameron Hodge a whirl. So, well, thank you guys. We'll move on to some more battles soon. Hopefully we'll do some One Piece stuff, and I've got some more Street Fighter, and just finally been sort of finishing off my first villain for the Dynasty Warriors, or the Orochi Warriors United as well. So we've got some Shu heroes, and Now we've got the yellow turbans you can take on by taking down Zhang Zhao, I think his name is. So that's the latest villain I've been working on. So keep your eyes peeled. Definitely check out Kanji Studios, all his great villains. Keep looking at what Dave's been putting out with his. He's doing a bunch of heroes at the moment, actually, with his Age of Apocalypse stuff, and lots of other great homebrew out there. Helios 23 still going strong with his One Piece stuff. Nelly Nels got lots of his really sort of hitting his stride with the Naruto stuff at the moment too. He's putting a lot of that stuff out. He's still got tons of My Hero Academia stuff and One Piece stuff as well. The Castlevania stuff. Norlith is continuing to put new content out. There's even some more people starting to sort of add more of their stuff as well. So I think Martin, apologies, I think it might be Martin V. I'll have to look that up, but he's put out a really cool fight with 3 classic X-Men villains as a multi-villain fight with Sabretooth, what's her name? Now, I'm trying to think what her name is. Lady Deathstrike, I think, yeah. Sabretooth, Lady Deathstrike, and one other nasty fellow. I think it's Omega Red. So, yeah, some classic sort of Wolverine bad guys there. So, I'm looking forward to trying them out as well. So, anyway, and, if Homebrew is not your thing, there's plenty of more Marvel United stuff coming with a Spider-Geddon set. Should be hitting retail shelves hopefully fairly soon, so hopefully to get more of that stuff to the channel as well. So yeah, lots of stuff to play. Anyway, thank you guys, and Meeple Monkey out.